But the end goal of this activity is what? To generate business opportunities, to bring you leads. And if we talk about this, the easiest way for you to get leads from LinkedIn is to talk exactly how you talk to your clients, or to take your clients' words about their problems and write about those things.
It's not about the use. First is to understand what your product does.
Just make the first step and just talk about what you're doing. And it will come natural. And make sure to stay in the game as long as it needs until it comes natural, until the business starts working and you simply nail it.
LaunchPod is an initiative of How to Web powered by BCR and with the support of BCR Seed Starter. Enjoy the show. I believe that this is your special dish, to say like this. Working with so many funders and trying to help them understand that it's important to write content and talk about what you're doing. I think this is one of the things that the reasons we became friends.
Yes, one of the reasons. That's true. Yes, I've been working. I have been blessed to work with so many founders in the past. I think 6 years, and I learned so much from them. And I saw a lot of people, brilliant people, building extraordinary things, building amazing products. But when it came to, I don't know, talking, to communicating what they were building, some of them, most of them, I would say, they have, this. They feel blocked. They believe, they feel. What can I say to people? I have nothing to show. Like, the product is not ready. The product is not perfect. I will start posting on LinkedIn, or I will start to communicate in the market once I have everything perfect, once the product will be perfect, or whatever. There are thousands of reasons why people don't want to build in public, to talk about what they're building. And you know what? I have been blessed enough to work with founders in, I think we have clients in 10 countries right now with the agency, with the Simplifier. And I've seen people in Australia, in United States, in Western Europe. They naturally talk about what they're building. They naturally talk about what they're building. And I wouldn't say their products are so much better than our products, because if we talk about the capabilities, if we talk about the quality of the products that we build here in Europe, Southeast Europe, if you want, compared to the quality of the products they build in the United States, it's not much difference. The products are pretty much the same, but the biggest difference is that those guys there, they naturally talk about what they're building, and they take so much pride when they start talking about what they're building. The product can be, a, a, an average product, nothing special, but hey, this is our product. We built it. It's so special because, and they naturally promote themselves. They naturally talk about what they're building. And another thing I've seen so many times with Romanian founders, not only Romanian founders, founders from Eastern Europe. We have this, idea that it's not
Shame? We are
maybe
ashamed to be proud.
we have the shame to be proud, and we have another idea that, hey, it's not okay to self-promote myself. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean it's not okay? You're working like a maniac, 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours a day to build a product, to do something. What do you mean it's not okay to self-promote yourself? If you don't promote yourself, who do you think is going to promote yourself? Like,
Clients that will be very happy with your product and it will endorse you.
look, I get it, man. Of course, we want this to happen, but in the beginning, it just doesn't happen. I mean, it's not a general rule, but more than 90% of the cases, 99% of the cases, if you want, this just doesn't happen. There are some outliers. There are some companies with amazing products and they instantly have product market fit. Maybe the founders have previous experiences in those industries. They know exactly what the market needs and they built it in 2 months, a product, or maybe less than 2 months right now with all those capabilities from AI, and they can instantly go to, I don't know, 100K MRR or whatever. But this doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, but let me take you in one place. In the beginning, it's cringe. It's cringe to talk about the product that you're building, like the self promotion. It's weird. Like, I remember in the beginning when we started Nario and I had to talk about the stuff that we are building, and it wasn't there, but I had to do it like an American. And I want you to go back when you started the Simplifier, because you started Simplifier after you sold a cleaning business
Yes.
that didn't had any connection with what you're doing now.
Yes.
How you overcome the cringe in the beginning when you don't have clients, you don't have proof.
Man, you know what? I understood very early on, I understood one thing that completely changed my perspective. I understood that people don't care about me that much, you know? People simply don't care. We want, when we say something, when we make a LinkedIn post, when we make a video, when we make a communication, whatever it is, we want it to be perfect. But the reality is that people don't care about us that much or at all, you know? And in the beginning, for me, it was, of course, it was cringe. I will send you my first videos. In 2023, it was the summer of 2023 when I decided I will start posting on LinkedIn and I will make one video a day for 100 days in a row. And I did that. Man, I will send you my first videos. So I'm so embarrassed when I watch those videos right now, but I had to start somewhere. And no matter how good you are, no matter how good your product is, no matter how successful your company is, when you start, no matter how good the consultants are, maybe you want to do this in house, maybe you hire a consultant or an agency, whatever. No matter how good those people are, in the beginning, it will still be cringe. It won't feel natural because you need some time until you get it. It takes some time, but you have to start somewhere.
It came to my head a very interesting experience. Uh, I was a natural on stage. I did acting in high school. My grandma put me on the stage when I was like 3 years old. Like, I didn't had that stage fright. And I was like, why I can't go and talk with strangers, like go and talk with different ladies that I liked, but I can go on stage and talk in front of 1,000 people. And that different experience couldn't be translated from one place to another. You just need at every skill you're starting from ground zero and you're pushing it. And in the beginning, it's cringe. And I was like trying to make sense. Okay, how you accept the cringe and you become friend with the cringe.
I think it's about ego, man. And it's not about ego, actually. It's about you giving up on the ego. Because, we don't want to embarrass ourselves in public, especially in public, you know? And it's normal to be like this. But I will tell you my experience. I left my ego aside and I said, look, if I'm not willing to do this, I will not be able to grow. So I was completely aware by the fact that in the beginning, I will look stupid, you know. It will be cringe, it will be embarrassing, but you know what? I said, okay, so be it. But video after video after video after video, post after post after post after post, discussions after discussions after discussions after discussions, you know, I got to the point where it just feels natural right now. And most of the people I work with, they believe that, you know what, I need to be I need to get new skills, I need to acquire new skills, I need to become a marketer, I need to become a storyteller, I need to do this, I need to do that. That's bullshit, man. You don't need all of this. You don't need all of this, especially if you have a business running and the business works and you have clients and the clients are happy. The only thing you need to do is just write about your day-to-day experiences. And you just need to write as you talk. There's no need for complicated jargon, there's no need for complicated articles or whatever. Also, it doesn't help to just delegate your thinking to an LLM, to Claude or to ChatGPT, wherever, you know. Um, we work on LinkedIn right now. We have several years since we work on LinkedIn, mainly on LinkedIn. This year we started working on other social media, and we have a lot of successes on other social media platforms as well, because we wanted to get out of LinkedIn. I mean, not to get out, we needed to diversify, because you cannot control what happens on LinkedIn, and you don't want to become a prisoner of the platform. So what I'm trying to say is that there's so much noise on social media right now, but still LinkedIn remains the most used platform in B2B, and remains the platform that generates the biggest opportunities if you're selling to a B2B audience. And with all of this noise, you know, it's a huge opportunity now more than ever to just be yourself, man. To just share your thinking with people. You don't need a sophisticated language to talk about those things. Actually, it won't help you to build to write in a sophisticated way. The simplest way to build an audience on LinkedIn, or to generate leads from LinkedIn, because, you know, I'm very practical. To me, if I'm doing something, I need to have what's the end goal of this. Okay, so of course you need to build visibility, you need to build brand awareness. I strongly believe this. But the end goal of all of these activities is what? To generate business opportunities, to bring you leads. And if we talk about this, the easiest way for you to get leads from LinkedIn is to talk exactly how you talk to your clients, or to take your clients' words about their problems and write about those things. Okay, you don't need to distill those those words, your clients' words, too much through Claude or through ChatGPT or through whatever. You know, it's a huge opportunity, if you ask me right now, to really be authentic and to speak truth. You know, and to be yourself out there.
Okay. I was listening to you and I was thinking, like, one of the biggest challenges that I see at the moment is the concept that you almost said it, but you went around. It's called build in public, because people are putting a lot of pressure, and for sure, like, this episode will be listened by the startup founders in Romania, precisely. And they have this challenge, like I was discussing with them, like, to build in public, what to say, what to do. You are saying, like, every conversation, but yeah, if I'm telling something that my platform is not working, or I share something that has to have some vulnerability, or it has to have some drama, because if it doesn't have drama, people will not read it. No one will read a post that I'm telling that I took a coffee and I went into the backyard and reflected on my thinking and I understood the meaning of life, and that no one cares about it. We are reading news because they are clickbaity. So we need to be clickbaity to differentiate in the mass. So in the build in public, you need to share something juicy, something important, something that it will resonate with someone who is reading. How you tackle that when you don't have wins, when you're at the beginning?
You know what? When you're at the beginning, you have no clients, you have no case studies, you have no proof that whatever you're building works. You have no proof about this. So what you can do if you're in that position, you can talk about how hard it is at the beginning. You know, today I incorporated my company. This is the first step. And it took me, I don't know, 5 hours to go to that office. And it took me another 2 hours to go to the bank to open the bank account, blah, 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 whatever. The second day, today I had a meeting with my accountant. I discovered that if you want to have a business in Romania, hey, you have to have an accountant, you have to have a lawyer, you have to have blah, 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 blah. And you start to talk about what you're actually doing day by day. And then in the third day, today we had our first attempt to talk with the potential customer. Okay? They said no to us, we have to move on. The other day, today we sent 10 emails. Okay? Nobody replied. The fifth day, today we sent 15 messages and 20 emails. We made our first, I don't know, cold call, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, but this is not about the product that I'm building. It's about the business and my experiences.
About the journey, my friend. It's about the journey. If we're talking about,
Who cares about my journey? They want to solve their problems.
yes, they want to solve their problems, but when you have nothing to prove to them, you have nothing to tell them, where do you start? You need to attract some attention, you know? You need to attract some sympathy. People will see, hey, look at that guy. He's struggling, he's trying to do something. In the beginning, you cannot talk about clients, you cannot talk about the problems you solved for clients. Okay, what you can do is to talk about your assumptions because you have not validated your assumptions. When you build a product, you start building a product based on some assumptions. Okay, you have those assumptions. If you are in a category of founders who previously had a strong experience in one of the industry, they have a clear probability that those assumptions will translate into something that's real. Sometimes this is how it goes. You have a founder that, I don't know, they worked in a corporate environment or whatever other industry, and they said, look, I saw that here in this industry there is this problem, and I don't like how people are handling this. I don't like how they are solving this problem. I will build a product that will solve this problem, this, and this. And it will do this, and this. If you are in that position, then you can talk about your previous experience as an employee in the corporate world, if you want, and you can talk to people and tell them how do you use to solve those problems before and what you will do different right now with this new product that you are building. If you are in that position, you can do this. But when you start from zero, like I will tell you, I sold a cleaning company. When I was 22, I started a cleaning company. I kept the business for 11 years. I expanded it at the national level in Romania. We had more than 100 employees at the peak. We had 300 corporate clients across Romania in 6 or 7 cities. So it was a real business. And I sold it in 2019, at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic came. God was with me back then, you know, because the 2020 and 2021 were very tough years. But still, the business operates right now. They are not in 6 cities or 7 cities as they were in 2019. They are only on 2 cities, Constanța and Bucharest in Romania. And they actually managed to grow the company since I left, even though they don't have a national coverage right now. So I sold this business and I wanted to enter in the software industry because I realized in 2018 and in 2019, I actually want to tell you a story because it makes a lot of sense to this topic that we are discussing right now. So I was in Croatia in 2018, and back then I was doing an MBA. I needed to do an MBA and to get some clarity and some structure in my mind. And I was sitting at the same table with five other people. All of them, they were super relaxed, enjoying the module at the MBA, and I was the only one super stressed with my phone on emails because I had my team back home. I think they were in Cluj or Timișoara, I don't remember exactly. We were opening a new branch there, and I had a team of people that needed to make a cleaning in one of the shopping malls there, whatever. And the machines didn't arrive in time. The workers didn't leave the space. So basically, we needed to do cleaning in 5,000 square meters with all of the constructors there with no cleaning equipment. It was a total mess, and I was very stressed. And that was our seventh branch in Romania, something like this. We were opening our seventh branch in Romania. And one guy at the table at the MBA, he was so calm, and in one of the breaks asked me, "Hey man, what's wrong with you, man? Why are you so stressed?" And I tell him, "Hey, look, we are opening our seventh branch in Romania, blah blah blah." I was explaining to him what we were doing, and he said, "Ah, cool. So you have a business in multiple cities. Nice. We have a business in 20 countries." And I looked at him. What business do you have? We have a software company. We sell a software product. And you have clients in 20 countries? Like, you want to tell me you have offices in 20 countries? And the guy started to laugh. And he explained me, no, man, we are selling a software product. Back then, so it was 2018, 8 years ago. That was my understanding about software. I had no idea what software means, man. I had no apps installed on my phone. I was using my laptop only with, I don't know, Word and Excel and email. That's it. I had no clue what software means. And that guy was so kind, and he explained me, look, man, when you build a software product, this is a digital product, and you can sell this digital product. We actually have one office in Slovenia, and we sell from this office. We have a team of 30, 40 people, whatever, and we sell this digital product to 20 countries all over the world. And I was fascinated. Oh, you want me to, you tell me that you can build a product and sell it all over the world without physical presence. And that was the moment when I decided I will sell this cleaning company and I will build a software product. So it was 2018. It took me 1.5 years since that moment until I finally managed to sell the company. And then after I sold the company, after 2 months, I started working as a marketing consultant, marketing and sales consultant for software companies. And I approached them, and I said, look, I have no previous experience here. I don't know anything about software. I don't know anything about artificial intelligence. I don't know anything about what you're building, but I do know one thing. I know how to sell. And I realized that, hey, you are so smart, you built this great technology, but you're not capable to explain what the heck you are building here. Okay? It took them 2 hours to explain me that they actually built a platform that allows big call centers to process 100 emails a day, without a human in the loop. And that was the moment when I realized, hey, these guys, they are so smart. They build these amazing products, but they just don't know how to talk. They just don't know how to communicate. Wait a minute, I know how to do this. So this is how I started. So I started working with these people from multiple verticals, multiple industries, and I worked for 3 years as a marketing consultant, doing these projects in various industries, working with various companies. And then I said, okay, I need to take this seriously. And in 2023, I decided to open the Simplifier, the agency, and started to take things seriously. That was the moment when I started posting on LinkedIn. And in my case, at that moment, I had zero experience as a founder in the software industry. Okay. I could not talk about, hey, I've built this, I've done that. The only thing I was able to talk was, hey, I worked as a marketing consultant for the past 3 years, and I work with these 20, 30 companies, and I did this for them, help them solve their problems like this. Okay? And step by step, I started working with new clients, and based on the work with the new clients I got, of course, I was able to expand the content. I was able to make the content more relevant and so on and so forth. You know, but in that experience, so since 2020 and until now, I think there are more than 60 companies that we worked with uh, one-on-one. I mean, working one-on-one with the founders or the founding team or the management team or whatever. And I'm telling you, there are so many, in many cases, the founders have zero entrepreneurial experience, previous experience. They start from zero, you know. They start from zero. So if we're talking about these cases, the only thing you can do is to start talking about the assumptions you have. Okay, we want to build this product based on the assumption that it will solve this problem. But until you have clear discussions with prospects, until you have implementations with clients, you can only talk about those assumptions. And in the meantime, what you can do is to share your journey with the good and the bad, you know, because this is also social proof. Like it's part of the founder journey that you have to go at, I don't know, some institution and solve, pay some tax, or I don't know, whatever. You know, the accountant calls you and tells you, hey, you have to pay 3,000 euros because of, I don't know. This is part of the journey. So you can also talk about these things because you know what? It relates to people. And especially when you are at the beginning, one thing you want to do is to capture attention and to also attract sympathy. You know, you want people to like you. And this is one way to do it.
Okay, okay. Very nice segue back into your story because we wanted to get there and to talk about the beginning of the Simplifier or your journey in IT and software. Now, it was, I wanted to get back into building public because one of the things that it's challenging here is to carve the time to do it because in a pipeline full of tasks, like one of the things that it's happening when you're a founder, you have unlimited tasks with limited life. When or how you should optimize to still build in public.
So, of course, you don't have time, especially when you're a founder. You simply don't have time. So, you need to work super smart. Like every meeting, every interaction with a potential client, with a partner, with the team. For us, we record everything, and everything gets transformed into content. Everything gets recorded and everything gets transformed into content. So, the idea of being disciplined doesn't mean you get up every day at 6 a.m. You're not a robot. Maybe there are some people who are able to do this. I haven't met anyone who's able to doing this thing. And I don't believe we should aim to do this. Okay, if 90% of the time you're able to get up at 6 a.m. and do everything you have to do, according to your schedule, that's amazing. But don't beat yourself if the other 10% of the time you're not able to do it. You just need to be flexible. You just need to adapt. So I expanded a little bit on this. How do you do it? Man, you simply find the time to do it. If you are not able to do it today at 10 a.m. as you wanted to do it, make sure you will find 10 minutes, maybe after you finish everything for today, to just give that transcript to Claude, prompt Claude to take your own words and build a short post. You know, if you don't have the time, or maybe you cannot afford to pay a video editor to extract the videos from those meeting recordings, at least extract the transcripts and use those transcripts, give Claude a prompt, and it will give you something. It won't be perfect, but at least you have something to work with, you know? And it's about priorities. It's if you make a priority from communicating with the market what you're building, then you will do it. Then you will do it.
How and yeah, very good point. Like this is a very good hack with like one of the things that I'm doing is doing voice recordings. I just go and run or take a walk and an idea came because that's another thing. We as founders, we don't have time to get bored to get ideas because those ideas are coming when you are bored. Like when you let your mind sink into ideas. Like I'm doing a lot of creative work, and because I do a lot of creative work, I don't have time for creating content because I'm investing it in other spaces in the product, in the startup. But this idea of having transcripts because they are conversational, like this podcast, for sure it will be reused and reused and reused by both of us. But how do you use AI in this sense? Because for sure, like getting summaries, getting a post, how you use AI, but at the same time, don't feel the guilt that it's AI generated.
You know what? It's not AI generated. I will tell you what I do. Of course, I use AI. Every one of us is using AI. You have no other option if you want to stay relevant right now. But if we're talking to business, AI is a tool, and we need this tool because we need to be more productive. We need to get things done faster. So the way I see it, my content is human generated. Myself, if you ask me, I got to the point where I write. Most of the time, I write my content. Like when I have an idea, I simply take out the laptop and write that down, you know? And sometimes I cannot finish that post now. Maybe I will finish it later or tomorrow. But if we're talking about the meeting transcript, let's say we have this podcast right now, we will stay together for 45 minutes or 1 hour, whatever. I have the meeting transcript, I have the podcast transcript. What I do, I give Claude a very specific prompt. It's I don't know, one paragraph prompt, and I simply tell him this. I need you to extract the main topics from this meeting transcript, and I need you to extract word by word exactly what I talked about each topic. So if we're talking about building public, first of all, I ask him what are the main topics discussed in this meeting, and he will give me 7 topics, whatever. And I will tell him for each one of those 5 topics, I need you to extract everything I said, everything Daniel said, because Daniel has a discussion with Mircea right now, word by word. Do not change anything. I simply need you to extract exactly what I said. Claude gives me exactly my words, and what I do right now, I prefer to take my own words and edit it and then build the post. If you want to use Claude further, you can do it. And you have basically the snippets with your own voice, with your own word, talking about that specific topic. Okay? What you can do is to ask Claude to give you a proposal for a hook.
How do you define a qualitative post?
Qualitative post, it's the post that talks to a very specific human being. So
Get into details.
in every post I write for myself or for my clients, for the agency clients, if I write a post for myself, when I write that post, I'm thinking real people that I know that have a problem. And in every post I write, I don't talk for them. I don't talk about them. I talk to them. Like I talk to them when I write a post. So if we're talking about quality check, the first thing I do, I think to myself, do I talk to Mircea in this post clear enough? Is this post going to make Mircea curious to find out more, to visit my website or to see a video or to go on YouTube or whatever to check to find out more information about me. Is this post clear enough talking about one super specific topic? If we're talking about, again, capturing attention and converting that attention, it's hard enough to capture people's attention on one specific topic. If you talk about more topics, more ideas in the same post, then chances are you lose your audience. So you have to cover one very specific topic in every post, talk about one thing, one problem you solve to one person. And sometimes when I talk to the founders or to the CEOs that we work with or other executives, CROs, COOs, whatever, their first question is, yes, but we have multiple ideal customer profiles. We serve multiple audiences. And I get it. It's, ideal customer profile. That's why they call it ideal, because it's ideal. You know, ideally it should be like this, but the reality is different.
Ideally, I want to, I don't know, have a Mustang, but at the moment,
You
I
know,
have money for Dacia.
you know, the ideal customer profile is ideal. In reality, you have multiple types of customers,
Segments.
multiple segments. And if you're serving multiple segments, then we go into the positioning, which this is a completely different topic. How do you define your positioning? What's the messaging? Whatever, it's another discussion, and it will take us
For sure, like
for sure too much time.
and I just wanted to get more into hows, because one of the challenges that founders have, and I have it, I can't exclude myself, is the how. Because most of the time you hear this kind of conversations that are very superficial and people don't know how to execute on different channels, and for sure LinkedIn is one of the channels. And I wanted to get to GTM Brigade, the project that you are doing now after 8 years of understanding what's tech. And now you have your own tech platform,
Yes.
now with clients in how many countries? 3, 4
Right now with GTM Brigade, we have clients in 2 countries so far.
countries.
So we
Nice.
launched a few months ago, and we have clients in 2 countries so far. So
Nice.
we are still very early with the product, but we're getting close to 1,000 US dollars in MRR. So we are growing. We are growing.
Nice.
We are doing the unscalable now. And I know everybody, when they start building a product, a software, especially a software product, everybody dreams about that growth, hockey stick growth.
Yeah, that's the story. You read Paul Graham, and then you read the, I don't know if you read the article "Do Things That Don't Scale."
Yes, I know.
And that's probably the best thing, because in the beginning you need to do things that don't scale, but as founders we want to optimize everything because we don't have so much time. So we believe that if we optimize everything, we will have time for other things, but in the end you need to have time only for the things that matter. And I want to get into GTM Brigade and the story behind there, because one of the things, as I shared previously, we want to help founders understand how to execute LinkedIn, because it's, as you said, is the main channel for B2B, and you are embedded there. We discussed about building public and what to write about, how to write, but at the same time there are two other things that you can do on LinkedIn, like doing wannabe cold outreach, even though it should be a warm outreach, and the commenting game that you are like embedded now.
Mhm. Yes. So I will tell you in a minute about GTM Brigade, but I feel that I have to tell you one more thing, because I'm also super practical as you are. And I hate when people, the so-called gurus, come and give you advices. You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that, and the other thing. Okay, how? How? And I feel that I have to make one more mention about the how. How do you create that content? So I'm telling you, I told you about using record everything, of course, with your clients and partners' permission. Record all of the meetings with your team, record everything, and use those transcripts to extract your thinking, to extract the exact pains and problems your clients have, and write about those things. And another thing, every time a client comes to you and tells you, hey, I need this, I need that, I'm not happy about that, or I am happy about that, use their own words. Like, I mean it, word by word. Forget about Claude, forget about ChatGPT. If a client gives you a negative review, use their exact words when you write content. Okay, you can apply reverse engineering if you want. If you don't want to be vulnerable and tell people, hey, a client told us that they are unhappy because of this and this and that, use reverse engineering, and you can do the opposite. We have a client that told us that they are super happy about us because we are doing the exactly opposite of that negative review, because that thing, what it does, if you have a client that is super unhappy because you didn't deliver that, this means that there are other people in the market who care about that. And if you position yourself like, hey, we are the ones who solve this thing, then this is a great opportunity for you to get in front of the people who need your product. This doesn't mean
Plus, he expected that. Like, if he gave a negative feedback for something, in his mind, he wanted that positive outcome.
Exactly. I wouldn't encourage you just to do this. You can do this. This is a trick. You can do it, but make sure you take that negative feedback and solve it. Because the main thing, if you want to build the product, the company, the business, you can only do this if people are happy, are using the product, and they are happy if product has adoption. So to finish about the how, we use every client discussion, we use every client interaction, we use every insight we get from customers, even the negative feedback, and we transform it into content. It doesn't need you don't need to build I don't know, a rocket and send it to the space. Make sure, I mean, you need to be aware that people don't care about you that much. And once you understand this, even if you're cringe, even if the content sounds bad sometimes, you know, get out there and write about what you're building. And repetition will make you better and better and better and better every day. So this is about the how. And now moving
You
on.
were saying something, and I wanted to interrupt you for a little. Like, when we have kids, you have 3 girls, I have 2 boys, so we have experience with this. Like, how proud you were when they were making the first steps?
Yes.
I think that's the way that we should be proud when we put a new label, when we put a new, I don't know, change the design, change the font, like every small thing in our upbringing. And as a founder, because I connected with what you said with Americans that are very like they are ecstatic because they put a new label on something, or like they are making the small steps look so big and powerful and important. And
Yes.
probably that's the thing that we should do. And we have that experience by looking at our kids and seeing how they grow and being extraordinary. I don't know. My kid now it's singing Satoshi. I don't know if you know the guy from Moldova, but he's singing a song in the car and sounds really bad compared to Satoshi. But I'm so proud that he is doing that. And I was like thinking the same thing with our products. It's the same philosophy. We should be proud because they exist and they are pushing the limits. Even though some people will say that it's
Man, you know what? Even if it's crap, the experience it brings to you is so valuable. It's so valuable. Like, this is my fourth attempt to build a software product with GTM Brigade. Like, I had 3 previous attempts that were successful failures in the past 6 years, you know. So this
I
is
saw how you changed, like in the previous story.
yeah, I had those attempts. The first one was in 2021, I think 2021, then 2022, then 2024. And then in 2025, I started with GTM Brigade. 2025 in November, something like this, October, November. GTM Brigade was started by Valentin, my co-founder. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's a great guy, Valentin Radu from OmniConvert. The guy is brilliant.
Sure, I'm a big fan of Valentin, so
Yes. So he's simply brilliant. Like the man is so smart. He built and exited multiple companies right now, and
he's a grinder, bro. Like he is
yes,
the OG of startup founders in Romania.
no, he's amazing. I'm so I'm so happy and so grateful that I have the chance to work with him and the team in this project. And he started GTM Brigade last year in August, something like this, because he needed to activate his team on LinkedIn. They work at OmniConvert right now. They work in the e-commerce space. They have multiple products, software products for the e-commerce industry, and the acquisition costs per client just exploded there. You know, it costs you so much money to get a new client. And again, we're getting back to the discussion. If you are in B2B, LinkedIn is still the best place to engage with prospects, to engage with your audience. And he needed a way to activate his team on LinkedIn. And he tried finding a solution on the market that will help him do what he needed, but he didn't find. So he said, okay, if we don't find it, we will build one. So that's what they started to do.
That's the mindset.
Yes, that's the mindset. So that's what they started to do. He and Ovidio, our other co-founder. So they started building the product, and of course, they built a small elephant. When I
It's always like that. Plus, you have vibe coding now. Like the the thing is, it's so easy to put information on the screen, and it's when you can't distill so much information.
yes,
So you build something big, and when you release it, it's literally like elephant in the water, and he is not floating.
yes, yes. So it's an elephant, you know. They've built an elephant, and I joined last year in autumn. Valentin, I had a discussion with him, and he told me about this project. He said, "Hey, man, I'm building this. You are on LinkedIn. You know the game here. Let me show you what we've built so far. Have a look, and let me know what you think." And he showed me the platform. We had several discussions about this, and then I joined as a co-founder, and we started working on, okay, we have this elephant. How do we explain what the elephant does? How do we sell the elephant, you know? And this is what we started doing step by step, you know? And it took us a few months to finalize the product, even with this vibe coding. We use cloud code. We can solve so many things much faster. But the idea that you can build very fast comes, with some advantages and some disadvantages. So no matter how fast you can build right now, the main thing is this. Okay, you can build any product you want in 1 month, 2 months, whatever. The question is, are people going to use the product that you built? Yes or no? That's the
It's
question.
not about the use. First is to understand what your product
Okay?
does, to get
Absolutely.
to
Absolutely.
get curious to use it.
So for us, it's still challenging to explain people with all my simplifier philosophy, you know, uh, with all this philosophy, and I'm a big fan of simplicity. Simplicity, not for the I know you simplify the message or you simplify the product until you dump down the product. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about making it crystal clear so people clearly understand what the product is all about. I have a strong background in positioning as well. So it's still challenging for us to explain what the product does because it does so many things, and it's still complicated for us to say, hey, the product is this, because the product is multiple things. It solves multiple problems.
Yeah, but like one thing that I learned, and now I can share this from the experience from Nario, is the fact that you need one spearhead use case that it's penetrating the organization, and then you land and expand. And with that thing in mind, you should give people something they look for. And because they are looking for, the challenge is you don't want to look weak. Like that, like when I'm doing a demo about Nario, I feel like I'm presenting my thesis and I need to show to the professor that I know everything. I can do that, I can do that, I can do that, I know this, I know that. But people don't care about everything. They care just for the problem that it's so painful for them then. And if you win their trust, they will give you more. So probably that's the biggest challenge of all, which is that use case, that it's simple, that it will make people say, shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
In a world where it's so easy to build.
In a world where he's so easy to build right now, I would say it's much complicated to get those products to be adopted. It's so easy to build them. It's much harder to get them to be adopted, if you ask me. And getting back to what you said, yes, you need to pick a case study, and this is what we've done. Because our platform right now, it's very complex and it covers multiple needs. We started with the idea to build a platform that incorporates multiple workflows, because the market is very fragmented right now. You have a tool that does outreach, you have a tool that does commenting, you have a tool that does enrichment, you have another tool that does posting, you have another tool that does whatever it does, and there are so many tools, and it's not easy to integrate all of those tools. There's a lot of integration depth right now in the market, as Mihai from Procesio says, because this integration depth is his concept and I steal it from him. But this is the reality. There's a lot of integration depth here. So we started with the vision to build a platform that incorporates all of these workflows. But right now, what we've done is we picked that case study, that spear, as you said, and this is the custom feed. We actually built a LinkedIn on top of LinkedIn. One of the biggest pains on LinkedIn right now is that it's so noisy. The feed is completely irrelevant. It's full of ads, full of clickbait posts, full of nonsense. And especially for people who use LinkedIn as an acquisition channel, they need a way to make sense of LinkedIn. The first thing you can do is to remove all of the noise from LinkedIn and to build your own custom feed where you see only the people you decide to include in that custom feed. And why that custom feed? Because with all of these algorithm changes, you cannot control who sees your content. You can have the best content in the world. There's absolutely, I'm telling you, if somebody comes to you and tells you, we know how to hack the algorithm, we know what to do, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they do, but 99.9% of the times, nobody does about this, because the algorithm changes so fast, like every month, every week, and it makes no sense. Those changes makes no sense. So you can have the best content in the world, but you cannot control who sees that content. If we're talking about organic, if you go and pay them a lot of money, then of course you can control the distribution of the content, and
Everyone will see it.
everyone will.
You just have to pay.
You just have to pay for this. But if we're talking about organic, then you cannot control it. So right now on LinkedIn, comments are so powerful because a super relevant strategic content placed to an ICP, to a post coming from your ICP, can make a huge difference. So this is what we've done. The first thing that GTM Brigade does allows you to build a custom feed where you can include only your potential buyers, and every time they make a post, you can engage with their post, you can place a comment. So basically what we are doing, we are building pipeline through the power of comments, and trust me, it works. Like we've done that multiple times right now for OmniConvert, for the Simplifier, for other clients, and it works.
What you should comment, because that's the challenge. You ask a question to be interesting. You make a statement, you make like there is that word called don't sell the mousetrap, tell how big is the mouse. What's the strategy that converts to say like this?
So you are selling a software product. Okay, let's
Yes,
say that you're selling a software for, I don't know,
salespeople. I can give you my example.
salespeople. Okay, you're selling a software for salespeople. Who is your ideal customer?
Head of sales.
Head of sales. Okay, you can build a custom feed with 1,000 people who are head of sales, and you can see every time one of those 1,000 people who are head of sales makes a post. Now, do you want to interact with every post coming from those people? Of course not. Because some of those posts are, today I went to the veterinary with my dog to make him a vaccine, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if you want, you can interact with those posts as well. Hey, congrats. Hey, I hope your dog is fine if you are a vet lover. And it can be a genuine, it can be a genuine comment. It's a good opportunity for you to tell them something. You're not selling anything. You see,
The funny thing it comes to my mind, it's the moments when I was in university and I wanted to get the interest of a girl. Was commenting on her Instagram, and it's the same thing
the same
now.
thing, man. It's the same thing. Honestly, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So, this is an edge case. The guy goes or the girl goes to the veterinary with the cat or the dog. That's one way to start a conversation, okay? And maybe in 1 week, the same head of sales makes a post that, hey, we struggle with this very specific problem and we have no solution to this problem. Is there anyone here who had the same problem? How did you solve it? That's a good opportunity for you to give them an idea, to offer them some value. And you can tell them, hey, we had the same issue, we solved it by doing XYZ. You're not selling anything. You're giving them something, you're giving them an idea. Okay?
Yeah, going back to what Chris Doe was saying, like try to be useful, don't try to sell. Because if you're useful, people will come to you for more advice. But if you try to sell something, for sure you don't want to be useful.
Exactly. And imagine you're doing this with 20, 30 people every day. You have a pool that's large enough. If you have 1,000, 2,000 people in that custom feed, and all of them, they fit your ideal customer profile, your buyer profile, imagine that it's the numbers game. Out of 2,000 people, every day you will have 30, 40, 50, 70, whatever, 100 people will make a post. And you will be able to see all of those posts, but those posts alone, without ads, without nonsense content, without content coming from other people. You will see only the content coming from your buyers. And what you can do is you can select the posts to comment on, because you cannot comment to 100 people every day. Or maybe you can, but this would mean to spend your entire day commenting. Which, you know what, it can be a good strategy. It can be a killer strategy to build pipeline and to get clients. But not all of us have the time to do this every day. So through this, it's like a Chinese drop. You know, you place a comment this week, you place another comment next week, you place another comment next week, and so on and so forth. These people, when you constantly land in their comment section with something that's meaningful, that's valuable. It's not like what you said is key, or I strongly
Interesting idea.
interesting idea, whatever. You know, mention something that makes sense to them, add some value to their content. If you do this long enough, those people will notice you, you will become familiar to them, and two things will happen. If the timing is good, or when the timing is good, they will know about you, and it's a good chance for them to reach out to you. And another thing happens, you warmed up those people. What you can do now is to include them into a warm outreach sequence and give them, I don't know, send them a message. Again, you don't need to sell immediately in those outreach campaigns. You can offer them something, you can invite them to a discussion or whatever. And when you run these outreach campaigns, the results are much better than the situations where you just run a cold outreach on an audience that never heard from you. So basically, it's a mix. You generate content, good quality content. You engage in comments. You engage with comments with your audience, and the third step is you include them into this warm outreach campaigns. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much
When you are saying, I was thinking of how you do marketing, and that like there is that thing in marketing, you need to see a brand 6 times to get to trust it. And probably you see it once in the email, you see it twice in the comments, you see it the third time when I'm adding you, commenting, liking, and so on. So at a certain point, you see myself so many times that probably I will be like a mosquito that you want to get out of the room, or you will be interested in what I want to say.
yeah.
And if I'm kind enough and helpful or useful, as I said, probably I will give you the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, hopefully you will be the second one, not the mosquito. Hopefully you will be.
Yes. But sometimes you are the mosquito, like people reporting your emails as spam, and you get the warmth of your email drops, and you lose domains. But that's another story.
That's fine. It happens.
Yep.
You just need to get used to it.
Good. Wrapping up this conversation, because it was full of tips and tricks and how to's, and for sure people can download it. Like one of the things that I'm doing, as you said that you are doing with conversations, I get LinkedIn, I get YouTube videos that I like this podcast. I put it in Notebook LM, and in Notebook LM I just ask questions and get quotes and different conversations, and I use them in content. So there is another way besides the conversation that you have. You can do posts based on other people's ideas. So that's one of the things that I'm using. So to wrap up this conversation, is GTM Brigade is helping you have the custom feed that you wanted on LinkedIn with specifically your ICP, as you said. And people can find you on LinkedIn for sure, because we discussed a lot about LinkedIn. So this is wrapping up this podcast. Do you have any last thoughts, suggestions?
I will finish this with saying, make the first step.
Just post.
Just make the first step and just talk about what you're building, and it will come natural. And make sure to stay in the game as long as it needs, until it comes natural, until the business starts working, and you simply nail it. Stay in the game.
Yeah, like that. It was that word, like startups don't die, just founders surrender.
Yeah, stay in the game.
Good. Thank you very much, Daniel. It was a pleasure as always. See you in Vamavik.
You in Vama Veche, yes. Bye.
The first Delta Bootcamp is wrapped up. Ready for the next one? In November, we are doing it again for exceptional founders who are building exceptional startups from Romania to the world.